Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we are going to be shuffling around some modular buildings because recently we went ahead and added the corner garage in the city all the way in the back there. And we did also do a review and a comparison to some of the other modular buildings that I own. And so in that video, we went and we placed it in the back there just because that was the only available corner spot that I had available to me. Because as you can see, the Grand Emporium, the Palace Cinema, the Tudor Corner, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and the Brick Bank are all taking up these corners. The Town Hall is taking up those two spots, and then it wouldn't fit here because there's no road here, so it can't go there. So I decided to put it there for the time being, and I was like, oh, you know what, it's not that bad. And then I sat on it for a little bit, and I actually am not a big fan. So today we are going to go in, and we are going to start shuffling around some buildings. I don't know if that's just going to be a couple of them just to find a new home for the corner garage, or if we're going to go all in and essentially just redo all of the buildings. I'm pretty happy with the road placement. I like having the road cut through here, and then another one there, and then there's one right there, one in the back, and then this main street here. I like that idea, and so I want to stick to that if I can. But also with the Arkham Asylum set on the horizon, which is an inverted corner, I need to figure out where that's going to go as well. So that is what today's video is for. So then hopefully my two goals for the video are to find a new home for the corner garage that makes more sense. And the second one is to find at the very least a tentative spot for the Arkham Asylum. So the easiest solution in my mind at the moment would be to take the corner garage and put it over here where the Sanctum Sanctorum is, and then take the Sanctum and put it here. And then I could just put a building here and then kind of call it a day, and then that is going to pretty much be that. But I don't know how the corner garage is going to look next to the Lego store. I would have to test fit it, and that is actually what I'm in the middle of doing right now. And then I also want to actually bring the bank up to the front, I think, and I want to put it where the Grand Emporium is. I think that would look a lot better. I really like the Brick Bank. It's one of my favorite buildings, and so I want to go in and I want to show it off more, and I want that to be up and towards the front of the city. And then the Grand Emporium, I don't mind being towards the back because it's a little bit taller, it's a little bit bigger, and then it would also just make more sense that it's near apartments. It's kind of like a shopping district, I guess. I'm still working that out in my head, but that's kind of the tentative plan. But I'm going to start with the Sanctum, and then we can swap the two and see how it looks. All right, so first impressions of this swap here are not that great. The Sanctum I actually don't hate back there. I think that looks pretty good. But the reason why I put it where the corner garage is now is because of the poster on the back side of it, or I guess the billboard, if you want to call it that. And I really like the look of that, and so I wanted to be able to see it from the front of the city, which is why I put it there. And then it actually doesn't look that bad here. I would just need a building that's tall enough to cover all this up. But as long as the building gets to about here, I think that could actually work. So I could maybe even slide this down or take one of the custom ones and bring it over. But speaking of the custom buildings, I am not a fan of the corner garage over here. Well, when you just saw it right at the beginning of the clip, I was not a fan of how you saw the snot bricks and other things like that from the back of the building. And also this is at the same depth from the edge of the street. So that doesn't look that great. And if you come around this way, that doesn't look good either. So what I could do is I could swap these two since they're on the same base plate. I could just take this building and put it here, and then take the Lego store and put it there. That could work, and then I would have to kind of reshuffle some things around, but that could work in my head. Then it would just work out a little bit better in terms of height and other things like that. But I don't think this is the proper home for the corner garage, so we're going to try a couple of other things. And kind of tying into what I was talking about earlier, what I think I'm actually going to do is do a little bit of a swap in three ways. So I'm going to bring the corner garage, I'm going to put it there, I'm going to take the bank, and I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to take the Grand Emporium, and I'm going to put it there. So I'm going to try that out. I'm going to see how that looks, but I will hopefully give you guys an update pretty soon as to how that looks, and then we can kind of take it from there and then start to move other buildings around as needed. All right, so this change actually went a lot better than I was expecting. I didn't think this would turn out that good, to be totally honest with you. But starting with the bank here, as you can see, it is right up at the front of the city now where the Grand Emporium was. And I actually think that this combination here isn't that bad. It's not the greatest in the world, but I think I could make it work. And I think I could live with that. On the other side, though, I don't love, well, in theory, it's really good to have the laundromat next to the townhouse here. I think that makes sense. Unfortunately, the buildings have the exact same depth away from the edge of the street, so it doesn't look all that great to me personally. But that could be swapped out in the future, so that's not really a big deal. And as for the Assembly Square, while it is fine, I definitely think I could do better than that. And I've actually been considering taking the town hall and putting it in the middle of that base plate and a half space, and then adding, instead of adding over here a full corner on each side, only adding 8 studs, an additional length on either side, or width I should say. So then it'd be the bank, the 1.5 base plate town hall, and then the Palace Cinema. And I think that could look really good. I'm not totally sure about how the logistics of that would go, like the math of the windows and stuff like that. I don't know if that would work out that great, but that is definitely something to be keeping in mind as well. But coming over here is actually the biggest surprise for me. I think the corner garage looks really good there. Ignore the crane here. I had to kind of reach over, and so I needed to move it out of the way. But the corner garage here looks great. I love it next to the detective's office. I think that looks really, really good. And as I'm trying to shuffle around the back of the city here, just keep that other view in mind with the detective's office and then the bookshop here. And so let me move the top floors of the apartment building out of the way so I can give you guys a better look. And so here that is here. The front of the corner garage actually lines up pretty good with this, and I think it's different enough to where it works. And then as you can see, the mechanism here for the garage door I don't love, but that is not the worst thing in the world actually. I think I could live with that. And these two buildings, this one was made in 2020 and this one, or 2019, and this one was released in 2020. So they were designed, or at least the bookshop was designed with the corner garage in mind. So there is that going for it, I guess, but I don't know how much I love this configuration here. And then as for the Grand Emporium back here, this isn't bad, but it could definitely be better. I think I would have to swap, again, like I was talking about with the corner garage, I'd have to swap the Lego store and the flower shop. I'd have to swap that and then put the taller building next to it just to make a little bit more sense. And then instead of putting another townhouse here, like this teal one, instead of putting a duplicate of that there in a different color, I think I'd have to go ahead and also put a taller building there just so it looks a little bit better, because the Grand Emporium is grand and it wants to be next to tall buildings. I think that makes the most sense for it. So that is just something to keep in mind. But the corner garage actually looks really good there, and I might end up keeping it. I don't know if I'm going to keep the bank there though. That is just kind of something that I wanted to try, because ever since we rearranged the city and I put it back there, I liked it there, but I thought we could do a little bit better than that. And so that's why I was kind of hesitant to change it, but I do think that this looks good. We would just need to also change the pet shop and probably the Assembly Square as well. But then that begs the question of how many more modular buildings am I changing? So I just need to keep that in mind before I go too crazy, because I don't want to change everything. I really like the Jazz Club and the Parisian Restaurant, and this whole row, honestly, I don't want to change that. I don't think I want to change the town hall. I'm open to it, but I don't have the pieces to make that happen, so it's not even really a big deal. And then the botanical garden, I want to stay here, and I think the museum would also stay here as well. And then this row of buildings I think is also going to stay here. I think that just looks better. I think those look good here. I like the boutique hotel there, and I like the police station because you can see it from all sides and you can see the billboard. So that's that. The Tudor Corner and the Palace Cinema I also want to keep here. I don't really want to move those. I think they look good. And so there's not really that many buildings left that I could move. So I'm trying to figure out how exactly I want to go about this. All right, so I figured I would try this configuration here with the bank and the Palace Cinema swapped, but I'm actually not a big fan of that. I think the bank is too short there, or at least the laundromat is. And then the Palace Cinema here, I don't think looks that great. There's a lot of warmer tones here, and I don't think the medium nougat looks great next to the dark tan. So that was a bust, but I figured I would try it anyways just to check it out. If you guys have any ideas as to what buildings to put next to each other, drop your comments down below. This is probably a little late in the video to be mentioning this, but I am open to your guys' suggestions. So drop your comments down in the comment section below, and I would be sure to read them and check them out. And then one day in the future, we can hopefully make that stuff happen. So drop your comments down below and let me know what you think. And also, while I am in the process of redoing some of the modulars here, I did manage to find the time to go to the Lego store. I've been meaning to go for some time, and I actually wanted to get another train motor. And so I only have one of these, and I had to take the one from the Horizon Express and put it in the Wild West train for that review. And so I finally went and I picked up another one of them. They're not super expensive, but I was really happy to finally get my hands on another one. And I also went ahead and I got another box of the Build-A-Minifig station, and they had some really good stuff on the wall there, or in the little bin. And so I was super happy to find some of these pieces here. Mainly the Spaceman torso, super happy about that. And then there's also a bunch of other pieces in here, like this instrument here, and then also a couple different pairs of legs, and even this blob thing as well. I think this is from the Dreams line, but I thought it was really interesting, and so I decided to pick this up. And there's a couple other things in here as well, like some interesting torso that I had never seen before, I don't think, and then a pair of dual molded legs for the beach right here, and then a nice hairpiece that I've also never seen before. So if you guys know where any of these pieces are from, let me know in the comments below. I'd be pretty curious to hear where these are from. Along with this printed tile here, I thought that was just something interesting, and so I thought it was cool. Could put that on the Wild West train. And then finally got my hands on a hermit crab. Can't wait to add this into the city. I just need to figure out a shell design. And then there was this piece as well, but I'm gonna save that for the end. But I got a minifig head to go with the hair piece, just because I thought it looked pretty decent, and it looked like it would fit into a city. And then the legs for the Spaceman torso there, and then the mid-sized legs with the cast on them. And I also got two birds, which was pretty cool. And then the hairpiece here, just because it was a good hairpiece to have in the city. And then this was really interesting. I've never seen this before. No idea what set it's from, no idea what theme it's from, but I'm gonna just leave it up to you guys to help me figure this out. So if you guys know what this piece is, drop a comment down below. It's a pink sphere with a little thing on the end of it, with a little divot on the side, and then on the bottom is just a bar. So let me know where this is from. I'd be very curious to hear where this is from, because it's a really interesting piece, and they just had a few of them in the Build-A-Minifig station, so decided to pick that up. But with that, let's get back to rearranging the modular buildings, and I'll show you what I've been up to. All right, so just for fun, I figured I would try this layout here. And so as you can see, the town hall is right between the bank and the Palace Cinema. And I actually don't think that looks too bad. I think I could make that work and then put 8 stud wings on either side just to help kind of bridge the gap between the two. I think that could work. And then as you can see, I put the assembly square in the back there, and we'll get over there in just a second here. But now this is open, and then I could put 2 corner builds here. Because with this current layout, I don't have any corner builds left. I have the 4 spots in the middle here. As you can see, the bank, the Palace Cinema, the corner garage, and the Grand Emporium. And then I have the Tudor corner and the Sanctum Sanctorum. And then the final spot for a corner build that I have is actually over here, which is the Boutique Hotel. And there's not even road access on both sides, it's only on one. So I have to kind of pick and choose where I'm putting these corners, and I have to kind of think about it a lot before I actually commit to anything. And so that's why I'm making today's video. So again, if you guys have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments down below. Now with this area opened up, the whole city looks a lot less complete. And so that is kind of strange actually, but coming over this way, you can see the assembly square in the back here as I shimmy my way around again. So as you can see, the assembly, you see the side of it, which I don't love. But if you come over this way, the garage sticks out a little bit more than the building itself. So it works for me when you look this way, but it doesn't work when you look that way, like how we just saw it. And then also the bay window is kind of facing that. So not a huge fan of that. So I probably wouldn't keep this here. If I were to actually keep this kind of layout, I wouldn't keep both of these here. I would keep one of them here and then move the other one, but I don't know which one that would be. So again, let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. But then this is the exact same positioning that it was at the front of the city, but instead of the Palace Cinema, it's the corner garage now, and we're in the back. So that is that. And then I also took the bookshop and I put it over here. And I think that works. I think that actually doesn't look bad. And then this whole street is now done. So as you can see, the Palace Cinema in the Tudor corner, the customized Holiday Main Street set, a row of custom builds along with my small town store, and then the bookshop, the Grand Emporium, and the Sanctum. And then I think that is actually going to look pretty good. And then the fire brigade would eventually go here. So that is what I have been up to. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And so I'm going to leave it like this, and we're just going to wrap the video up here because I want your guys' feedback on this. Let me know what you guys think of the layout changes here. If this is something that's good, or if I should just revert it back to how it was and then try and find a new home for the corner garage and kind of start over. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe, as well as click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads, like potentially rearranging the city yet again. If you guys have any feedback for me on the different layout styles that we went with today, make sure to drop your comments down below to let me know what you think. And be sure to use timestamps down in the comment section as well so I know which layout you're talking about. But once again, seriously, thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.